Hello everyone, hello and welcome to a new video today with the Dune Spice Wars. Yes, it's the adaptation of the famous Dune movie and book series. It's Dune, but you know, it's the way they stylized the E in the new Dune movie kind of makes it look like a C, so we may as well call it Dune. It's a very interesting aesthetic choice. Anyway. This game is developed by Shiro Games, who are the people behind the Northgard, which is a game that I have owned for several years but never played. So this is the first game of theirs that I'm playing. They also made something called War Tales, it seems. Wait, did they make Evoland? I played Evoland. That was made a long time ago. So it's the same people. Cool. Cool. The game is published by Funcom, which recently opened a studio in Romania, and is developing two other Dune games, of which I am not certain what their identity is. I do believe one of them is a survival kind of affair because, Conan Unchained was popular for a while, and then the Buzz took over, and it became less popular overall. But anyway. Dune Spice Wars, what is it? It is a 4X strategy game, one that doesn't have any credits button, but it's in early access, so things will still be improved. Gotta say though, for a game in early access, it is incredibly polished. There's just one technical issue it has. It's that when something happens for the first time, it takes a while for it to actually load, so the game stutters a bit. Otherwise, it's superb. And it's a strategy game, a grand strategy game that lets you play as these four factions. You have the noble Atreides, the insidious Harkonnen, the Val Harkonnen, the insidious, well, they're not Ordos, they're smugglers. They kind of have the same, inclination towards profit as the Ordos would have in Ye Olden Dune, but you can see that the colors are kind of reversed. I mean, in the Dune games previously, Atreides was blue. Well, and the Electronic Arts Dune games, I mean. Atreides was blue, Ordos was green, but they switched them around. Harkonnen is always red. And as an addition, something unfamiliar with the series up until now, the Fremen are their own faction. And all of these factions have different bonuses, different ways they're meant to be played, you could say. For example, the Atreides, they wouldn't plunder, pillage a neutral village. That rhymes. Instead, they can peacefully annex villages if they have enough resources like water and authority, which is a meta-conceptual resource that you... The game has a lot of meta-conceptual resources, like influence and other stuff. If you're a Harkonnen, you can pretty much bully everybody and nobody likes you. If you're a smuggler, well, you don't get access to the Landsraad all that much, but you can develop, criminal underworld, and you can place bounties on the Landsraad resolutions, and you have improved interaction with the Arrakis black market, which shows up from time to time. And as a Fremen, you get to ride worms. Also, your units are invisible. Also, because you're not a house, you don't have much access to the Landsraad. So, this is what's available now in early access, and I've got to say, it's still a lot for what's essentially a game that just entered early access. I'm not sure exactly if the game tells you how long it's gonna stay in early access. Let us see. How long will it stay in early access? Throughout the new content, major ones being multiplayer. Okay, it will add multiplayer, a new faction, and a full campaign. I'm guessing the other faction may be either the Emperor himself, or the Bene Gesserit, or maybe another house. Possibly. I think. What's the current state? How current? Doesn't say exactly how. Oh, how long? Yeah. Between 9 to 12 months, so it's gonna be here for a while. But still, as the game is right now, it's still got a lot. So let's go into one of the factions and show you what you get apart from the differences, those base differences, those base bonuses. You also have this. You can pick your counselors, and each of these will give you a different bonus or ability or something else that will further enhance and further change your playstyle from one run to another. For example, I can pick Shani, which is, Chani, and she gives you +5 intelligence per adjacent neutral region, and can use Incite Rebellion on Landsraad resolutions, generating rebellions in other factions if the target or resolution passes. Rebellions are OP, by the way. I'm gonna show you exactly. You can pick Stilgar, gets +1 authority per spice field, and you get Mother Amalo. Start with the Shai Hulu Temple unlocked, reveal the position of a spice field. That's useful because spice is useful for a while in the game. And then you get Othium, the guy that, gets whacked at the end of the movie. Was supposed to get whacked at the beginning of the next movie, but I think they had more time or something. They didn't find a way to properly place the ending. This guy gets units gain Sand Killer when no allies are nearby, and that's a hefty bonus, to be honest. Plus 10% speed means that nobody else can catch them. I've been running after Fremen for a long time in the game. You can also change, types of victory. You can have domination, which, total domination. Hegemony it's this thing. It's basically your, I wouldn't say cultural victory in terms of civilization, but it's similar. It's a combination of, it's score victory, basically. Hegemony is score victory, and political means you get elected the Grand Poobah. Siege hostilities. Sieges are their own thing as opposed to villages. Storm activities. Storms, by the way, you're gonna love them. Storms saved my ass so many times because if your units are not at a friendly village when a storm kicks in, they're dead. And it's amazing to see a storm roll over your village when it's being sieged and you're about to lose. Sandworms. Lots of sandworms around. Also, sandworms do not like you fighting on the sand. Map sizes, gotta say I'm a bit disappointed currently. I mean, it's still early access, but large ain't that large. This is more of a short form 4X, if you would want to call it that. Don't expect it to be as large and comprehensive as, well, let's say, Stellaris? Let's see, which one should I choose? I guess this one. I'm loading my save game from basically the end of the game. Close to the end of the game. Let's get into it, and I'll show you pretty much how the game looks like when it's nearly done. So you can get a feel for what the game has to offer at this stage of the 0.1. Okay, interface-wise, it's going to remind you a lot of a Paradox game, with the thing here, with the resources there, with this thing here, with the units to the side. It's definitely drawing inspiration from Stellaris and other Paradox games, though again, have to say, did not play Northgard, so if Northgard did the same, then oopsie on my part. But if you're a fan of Dune video games in general, this quite possibly looks very familiar to you, because these are all regions that you can attack. See, this is a region, this is a region, this is a region, and it doesn't have the arrows, the big arrows pointing to each region when you attack. I hope they add those, because it's basically the exact same thing we saw in Dune 1, but especially in the Dune 2 briefings, where you could choose where the next attack. Also, just like Dune 1, you mostly spend your time, zoomed out like this so you can see everything, but I have to say that visually it looks nice, and there are some very, very good details, and I don't know exactly what these guys are doing here. There are some very, very good details and stuff like spice plumes showing up from time to time around here. Spice, by the way, there's no actual point to there being a spice plume, since spice is inexhaustible whenever you find one in a region. I hope that's something they change and they make spice, move from region to region with the worms or something. Because currently it's kind of a bummer to have it be unlimited. The whole point of spice was supposed to be that it's a rare resource, but it's unlimited. But anyway, it's there. So this is the green stuff is my bit of the kingdom, my bit of Arrakis. But it's not what you'd call big. It's up until here, up until the diagonal lines start showing up. I hope maybe either in the final version or maybe an expansion later down the line, because the game is just $30, so they could milk it like Paradox does. I hope they would add the option of actually this game taking place on the entire planet, like Dune 1 did, so you could actually, travel the entire planet. Like Civilization 4 did something similar. You actually had the planet, it was spherical in a way. So I'm hoping it's possible with the technology they're using, because that would be absolutely great. Visually, it looks nice enough. This stuff like this is just for show. It's meant to signify that there's trade and commerce between your various cities, and these things have no physics. There's no point to them actually being represented here. They're not physically present in the game, so they can be shot down, they can be intercepted. This isn't what do you call it? Off-world trading company is what I wanted to say. So it's not exactly like off-world trading company, though visually it may seem, and it does have similar tools in some way. So when you begin the game, let's get to the actual way that the game plays. When you begin the game, you have your starting base. This is Arrakeen, where the Atreides start. The Fremen start in Siege Tabar or Siege Tabr. It depends on how you say it. It's the biggest siege in the game. There are plenty of other smaller sieges like this one, which have Fremen in them. The Harkonnens start at Karthag here. It's a very ominous place. And the whatchamacallums start in where's that thing? Where's their main base? There's a mountain here, Jack. Mount Idaho. Wait. Did the mountain get its name after Duncan died? Didn't the mountain get its name after Duncan died? Not before? Okay, so as you can see, this thing offers you a bonus if you have control over it, which is actually something I'm going to try and do right now. But to do that, I'm going to need to get my Ornithopter, which is still being built. I have plenty of other Ornithopters, but they're currently in use escorting these harvesters, which are set on autopilot. Being on autopilot means that they produce less spice, but they're not eaten by worms if I'm not paying attention. Otherwise, these would act exactly, and I mean exactly, like the space probes, the science probes from Stellaris. They would go around and investigate stuff like this, and this would then in turn require me to do something to investigate it, either using another ornithopter or some spies or something else. It's what you do. So when you start out from this region, you get to decide which one of these nearby regions and villages. Something just popped up. God damn that ability. I'm gonna get to it in a moment. You start out by conquering either peacefully or through violent means a nearby village, and you can then set up militia in the village to protect it, unless it's a rebellion, and you can build buildings in them. Various buildings. Let's take, for example, I don't think I have enough buildings in this one yet. Yeah, these are kind of all the buildings you have currently. They offer you statecraft resources like knowledge, which lets you research stuff. They offer you things like influence, which basically gets you a lot of stuff for free, or can be traded for votes. Actually, it can replace votes. I'm going to get votes in a moment. And intel, which is espionage and general skullduggery, and also hegemony, which is your score, which influences a bunch of things, actually. There are 3 levels of hegemony. Your basic one. If you reach 5k, you get this bonus. If you reach 10k, you get this bonus. And if you reach 25k, you win. So that's gonna happen in a couple of minutes if I press play. Now, if your villages get attacked by, let's say, these assholes, these Fremen, who are currently my allies, the Fremen will try to liberate your village and all your buildings will be destroyed. If it's attacked by an enemy, they can choose to plunder it, to liberate it, or take it over. Honestly, liberating them seems to be a much more effective a way of dicking with your opponent. Because it means that they'll have to reconquer it and then rebuild everything because everything got destroyed. So, this is a rebellion in full swing. All these assholes just showed up out of nowhere. And my forces here, which I spent a lot of money training, they're doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're just sitting there, twiddling their thumbs. They're not coming out to fight, and I think that's a massive, massive problem with the game, because this ability, which I have prepared right here, is absolutely amazingly overpowered and devastating. This is your espionage screen. I have one agent that's currently captured. This lets you do lots of skullduggery. This is something that I wish had been in Stellaris day one, not as basically the last expansion, which I'm probably gonna buy at some point if it's cheaper. You can research, well, you can prepare these missions in advance and then use them at the right time. You can defend, you can sabotage defense, you can have crowd control, crowd manipulations. You can interdict the airspace, meaning that if there's a worm and this harvester is not on on rocky terrain, see, on rocks, it will get swallowed because the carrier can't come and pick it up. Then you got stuff like atomics, which you can't actually use atomic weapons in the game. It's just this, which kind of Chom shares, this doesn't do much, honestly. Yeah, it gives you score, basically. It doesn't do anything else. Political audit increases your standing, which is a limited, or really absolutely limited thing as a use, because you can reach high, well, a trade is started with a bonus, but you can reach the highest standing quite quickly. Then you've got the more interesting bit. This is the sabotage your way to victory approach, which basically lets you unlock a chain of selectable events where you try to assassinate somebody. I mean, assassinate the leader of a faction, effectively ending that faction. Which, let's say if I do take one from here, put him here. These guys didn't do much to protect me against this thing, because this was caused by somebody. This was caused by the Fremen, probably. It doesn't tell me by whom, because they didn't do a good job of actually, protecting me. So I'm gonna have to use force. Luckily, I have some force nearby. I have these guys, and and these gals, and I'm gonna get them to come here. I said I'm gonna get them to come here. Thankfully, this area, because this area was constantly being attacked either by Fremen coming from what used to be their operation here before I blew it up with this thing. I built these turrets, these rocket turrets that can attack things in neighboring areas, and that that tends to solve a lot of problems. But you're not always going to be in such a fortuitous situation to have the buildings so close by. And also I have the bonus of actually letting me fire at a longer range with my missile. This is the tech tree. It's not a big tech tree. Again, the game is more of a short form type of 4X strategy. Don't expect this to, I mean, maybe on higher difficulty levels you can stretch for tens of hours, but currently I played it for about 7 hours. 7 hours, that's decent. But still, it's nothing compared to any game of Civilization I've played. Or the Space Empires or Stellaris, which can stretch for hundreds of hours in a single game. It's meant more to be replayed and replayable. combat takes place like, unlike most 4X games, especially unlike the Paradox interactive games, you actually have control over your units, and control is important because I need to keep my rangers away from this guy, because in melee they are not all that great. They lose half their power. And I think my melee guy died. Yeah, my melee guy died. Now, these units gain experience. I don't know exactly where it's indicated how much experience they have. But I can also get mercenaries, which I believe do not get experience. I also have not unlocked the warden, which is the biggest badass. Well, sort of like a Duncan Idaho type of character. I do have this drone though, which can do droney things. Oh yeah, and I have this ornithopter, which I'm gonna send to Mountain Idaho and probably take it over. Let's go back to the battle at hand. Now, because all these enemies left, the village is basically fine. Again, the oh. See, now if I don't move my units from here, they're gonna be swallowed by the worm. You see the worm sign. Sandworm detected. I haven't seen the word, the actual worm sign word mentioned, but this is basically what's happening. I'm gonna move them here. Hopefully they'll get out in time. And well, no, since these guys died, the worm won't. I want to show you the worm, so I'm gonna put these guys back here, just so you can see the worm as it eats them. But no, the worm seems to be driving off. Oh, come on. I'm moving around rhythmically, so come on, show up. Shaykhulud, I summon you to the serp, and he's gone. Well, that's disappointing. Now I can show you the sandworm. No, wait, there it is. See? There's Shaykhulud. He doesn't, you know, get any higher than this, which is kind of a shame. Well, again, I haven't played this. They did it again. As I've said, this ability is a bit overpowered. Imagine if I didn't have my units like right next to these guys. And again, the militia does nothing. That is a horrible oversight. Horrible, terrible oversight of militia doing nothing. So I'm gonna get some mercs and just move them here. They're not all that far away. Let's see, control. Do I have the airdrop? Yes, I have an airdrop here. You can build spaceports to airdrop them in. Oh, and there's Shaykhulud's returning, but he's returning and he's gonna eat everybody here, I guess. Probably my mercs as well. No, just those guys. Well, that's solved itself. That problem just doesn't exist anymore. I think Shaykhulud is gonna eat my mercs as well. Run! Run, you idiots, run! Do not incur the wrath of Shaykhulud. Stay there! Stay there! Run away! Run! They're very insistent. And the worm is also very, very persistent. Just stand there. You can't give them orders like stand down. They will just attack. You can only disband them. It's not what you would call very, very involved in terms of combat. It's not StarCraft, but it's a hell of a lot more than what you would find in Stellaris and Crusader Kings and other similar Paradox games. Again, have not played Northgard, so those comparisons are probably not all that great. Let's see. Let's actually discover this village, maybe, and try to take it over in this video. Okay, so that was combat, and I showed you. I'm gonna show you espionage in action by screwing over the Fremen, because it's always the goddamn Fremen doing this. I may be wondering. Actually, I think did I pick the right one? Yes, I did. And there. This means they're fighting there. I'm actually gonna get a new. I can even assassinate one of them. Actually, the Fremen. Before that, let's go to the big screen. This is the Landsraad, which is basically a council. It's like the United Nations in Civilization, or actually the United Nations in Alpha Centauri. You get the silent thing. People get put in different positions of power. The biggest one being governor, which only gets unlocked when 49 of the sieges of the villages are controlled. And if you stay in that position for long enough, you win. So currently, I'm gonna pick this one for myself. I'm gonna vote myself to this one because I want to build that unit. That Landsraad guard is quite powerful and would be quite useful. Now, the reason why my votes turn blue is because I'm using my influence, which is a meta resource like authority and Landsraad standing and other stuff, and that's plasma crete, and intelligence and votes. It's an abstract resource that basically gets me free votes out of nothing. It's a mechanic that I do not really enjoy because it doesn't make much sense. I mean, where do these votes come from? Yes, it's influence, but it's not taking away from this. What I think influence should have been doing in voting would be to redistribute the votes of these guys, of the minor houses. Then it makes sense. There's a 400 cap. Maybe have a 400 cap on this thing, or maybe have a bidding war for their votes between the various houses and different factions involved in this political scheming, the major houses and stuff. That would have been a better situation because somebody can just farm influence and get whatever they want, which is not a great thing. Okay, so the assassination mission is different from every other mission because you get to choose. It has 3 steps and you get to choose exactly what happens. So let's pick this thing because I have some enemy agents, prisoner. And it's mainly than actually in my agent being captured, but that's okay. I have a bunch of them. And the mission doesn't seem to be able to actually completely fail. At least it hasn't so far. You can actually talk to pretty much everybody. One way that Dune Spice Wars differs from pretty much every game of the genre is that you're never at peace with anybody. Like, never. You have non-aggression pact, which doesn't actually cover non-aggression. Just means that supplies are used at the same rate in your areas as they are in the other areas. Supply is, well, it's like in Space Empires. If you run out of it, you're not going anywhere. Your units just die. They need water, they need supplies, they need food. Without that, they die. That's all the non-aggression thing does, which is something I found out quite horribly when I was taking over... let's see, what was it? Taking over, yeah, it was actually this place. I was peacefully taking it over, which in the case of Atreides takes a long time. And when I was, almost done taking it over, the Fremen attacked it and were besieging it as it was turned into one of my factions, one of my villages, and they proceeded to attack my village, and their relation with me just dropped from like plus 40 to minus 90. Because I had peacefully taken over a village that they were attacking. Ally agent captured. That's too bad. I can trade for them back. That's okay. Operation detected. Yeah. But it succeeded. Actually, no. This one? Okay. So, where is the thing? Yeah, it's on level 2. So I just need to move one of these guys to here to get back to level 2, and I can go assassinating. Well, I need more intel, but I can go assassinating. I can move to phase 2 of assassination, but I can't do that. I have to keep the game paused because I'm gonna win in a couple of rounds anyway. Okay. at least we can see if we were successful in... yeah, we're kind of successful. We are... See, this ability just absolutely screwed them over completely here. And I mean completely. They had spice... Oh, there's a wreckage here I can investigate. They had so many things. Look, this is how they gather spice through a tent and not through other means like harvesters. Oh, I can't take this over because it's too far away. Wind, if you're curious, influences your wind traps, their ability to gather water, but it's not something that you will be using all that much because there's this thing on the map. This is the polar sink, which lets you build all this thing, which generates more water than what you would get from like 6 or 7 villages. So why bother, honestly? It's actually a pre-requirement to get the position of Water Sellers Union Charter, which basically gives you a lot of money. Money is actually not that useful in the game, and honestly, not even spice. I had at one point 5,000 spice. You can actually choose to convert some of your spice production to just direct money, and they're apart from needing it to pay your tax or the Sardaukar will come and kill you, spice isn't all that useful. It is, how should I put this? I expected spice in a game called Spice Wars to be more important, but it's kind of not. I mean, you can't do stuff like make a monopoly and just win by having a heck of a lot of spice. Again, it's early access, but maybe they'll add it further down the line. I mean, if you have a monopoly on spice, if you reach the limit of 5,000 that you can gather in one place, maybe you could, threaten the Spacing Guild with something, and they'll give you bonuses or ships or atomics that you can actually use on the map instead of in an abstract way. There's definitely room to grow here. A lot of room to grow. Whole lot of room to grow from here. From a technical standpoint, the game runs, again, apart from the glitching thing that I mentioned earlier, it runs quite well, and it's very, very playable even in the state. And I think this is living by itself. If I did not have this active and I wasn't paying attention, it would get eaten. It also has a defensive rating, which I've never actually had this thing attacked by anybody. The AI doesn't seem to want to do that. I guess they consider it to be more important. Let's send it back now. The carryalls are built automatically by the refinery when you place it down, so it's not something you get too much involved in, like you would get involved in the first one, where you had to actually buy your carryalls from the black market, which was the smugglers. I do have a black market thing, I guess, but you don't do that much of it. Alright, there's the Fremen, actually, the Sieges, which is an important bit. These guys are assholes when you first meet them. Well, you don't meet them. They will come to you. They will let you know they're there by attacking your nearest village and probably liberating it unless you beat them. And then you have to fly around with your ornithopters to find them, and then send somebody to, just trade some water for one of their bonuses, like knowledge, for example. Each siege has a different bonus that you trade for, and when you get to 100, you can send one of your emissaries, one of your spies, basically, to ally yourself with them, leading to a bonus that can be quite good, but it's only available if you're in the same region, like if you have a village in that region, unless you are a Fremen, in which case you can have that bonus no matter where they are. Honestly, sieges seem a bit underused. You can't ask them, for example, hey, would you, in exchange for some water, or in exchange for some more still suits, some crisp knives, some weapons, something, could you shove a Shai Hulud up the Harkonnen's keister? You can't do that, which is kind of sad, honestly. I mean, look at them. See, they're just walking by themselves around here somewhere trying to kill somebody. I guess. Trying to kill these guys, or did they just get hit by a storm or something? I don't know. They were going somewhere to attack somebody, so they were doing stuff. They were doing stuff. The good part is, when they do attack you, I think they're actually attacking these guys. When they do attack you, if you have enough of a level at Arrakis infiltration, you can research the operation called Arrakis Diplomacy, which ends a raid. This is very important early on. You will need this because your forces will be stretched thin at the beginning. And I'm done researching something. Let's research. Yeah, some research bits are exclusive to certain factions, like, oh, what was it? Yeah, merchants and delegations and understand the beauty and other stuff, and new homeland, which lets your missile battery fire a bit stronger. Oh yeah, and in your main building, you have the ability to build essentially wonders, if you will. Buildings that give you big bonuses. You can build them in districts, and when you fill a district with a certain type of building, you get the bonus of that district for that particular type of building. For example, because I built in the three slot district, I built all military buildings, I get this bonus, which is good. Otherwise, if I gotten this, if I built here, or you know, any of these ones built in other places, it's a neat mechanic. It's not overly complex. You're not going to be building 100 billion buildings. It's small, and I can't say that that's a bad thing. It's a smaller scale 4X game than Stellaris, for example, or a Star Ruler or something other like that, and that's okay. Well, this has been resolved, so let's see what we got. We got a bonus to our research. I'm not exactly which one. One of them. Somewhere we got a bonus. And this city has been completely, absolutely cleared. My enemy is just in the wind right now. Like, simply by chaining that crowd manipulation thing, I could absolutely ruin them. I can do it actually quite well by, I'm lacking some intelligence, so I'm gonna buy it from them. They want intelligence, so I'm gonna have to trade for something very valuable to them. I'm gonna give them a bunch of spice because I don't have much use for it, honestly. Okay, I just traded them some intelligence, and I'm gonna use that intelligence to kill their leader. Yeah, they accepted. The dumbasses, they accepted. I should probably not, not swear, not be mean to them. I mean, they are helping me. Duration. Spend influence. Let's see what happens. I never managed to actually complete this thing because I always won right, like, quite soon, in a couple of moments. So it's not great. I don't have enough authority to conquer this thing yet, but I will soon. Let's speed things up a bit. But in essence, that's the game. It is quite enjoyable, honestly. The back and forth of trying to conquer the villages and take them from different entities. It's nice. For a €30 game, yeah, I think it gives you enough. I wish it was more, and it will be more as it goes on. That's the good part. I specifically want a bigger map. Yes, I know that I've said that it's nice to have a smaller scale for X, but at the same time I want the choice to make it bigger. Even bigger, like have the entire planet. I want that. Okay, so I'm basically everybody right now. I just need this thing. We need to colonize 4 more regions. 7 more regions, and I can be governor. Oh, sandworm detected again. How's this thing going? It's almost done. And I'm generating a lot of intel. communication. On occasion, they will come and say, "Oh, something, 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 blah blah blah," and you can pretty much ignore it. Let's trade with this guy. Trading actually reduces your authority. Trade accepted, and I have an inactive harvester because it will not go back on its own, so you have to take it back. That's nice. I should probably actually build something in these villages that I took over up here. Intelligence, maybe? Yeah. Siege friendly. Okay, so I got these guys to be my friends, and now I can get a bonus of minus 100% building upkeep in these regions, and I have nothing there, so it's not an awesome thing to have, actually. Can I get this? Yes, I'm gonna be able to get this soon, but conquering it will take some time. Oh, operation detected. Discover my operation. Captured agent. Captured agent. Captured. I've lost 3 agents. Okay, I'm gonna. Oh, I lost a bunch of agents. Okay. What do they want? I'm gonna give them Solari. Yeah, it may seem like a lot. 6,000 would have been a lot of Solari at the beginning, but once you realize that money isn't all that useful for much, and neither is spice, you just end up having a lot of it. And now I have all my agents back. And they're all going to be very, very happy doing their job at killing somebody. Okay, let's see, where's the... Oh, I need 1k of those. Oh, here's the thing. To actually finish this, I'm going to need level 3 access to this. So I'm gonna need spy logistic or a trace delegation, and to this, the lay of the lands. So I'm gonna need to research a bit more so I can actually do that. I cannot actually do that, which is sad, but hey, I'm gonna win anyway. Most resources have a cap apart from this and this. They kind of all seem, well, on water, I guess, and authority. No, authority has a cap of 500. So you can't really do much with it. They all have caps, meaning that you're not really rewarded for not spending them. Actually, I wonder what's going to happen if I actually don't give them any spice when the timer ticks down. If it actually can tick down by the time this happens. Okay, let's vote on some stuff. Minus 100 plus 100% agent capture when operation is detected. Yeah, let's actually keep me in this position and recruit some of those Landsraad guards because they're cool, and I'm gonna use them to I don't know. Should I just siege Carthag? Carthag? Or siege Tabra? I mean, I could do. I'm probably gonna attack siege Tabra, I guess, but I will have to cross the desert. So there is the concept of the deep desert that has a lot of wind, is not in any way or shape or form colonizable, and will kill most of your units. And wind strength has a strong effect on supply, so I'm gonna have to go through here, I guess. I could probably take this over first and then just move down here. I think that's what we will do. Okay, let's get our units started. Just a few more. Just a few more. There they are. I'm actually gonna select all of them and airlift them to here. There is no limit on airlifts. You have unlimited access to shuttles, which seems like a bit of an oversight. Poisoned water reserves would have done wonders if I kept these guys there, because they wouldn't have regenerated. Counter assassination mission detected. Oh, so they can counter my okay. They have the ability to counter my assassination mission. That's fine. That's okay. I actually don't need that anymore, since I'm going to do it manually, as you would say. Let's move in for the kill. I'm gonna take this over first. Oh. Yes. Fixed. I lost the charter for a speaker. And that's not a problem. I still get to use these guys. Not a problem. Let's attack this place, which isn't very Atreides of me, but hey, if the Fremen do it, why shouldn't I be able to do it? This could have probably gone a bit better if I focused fire. Let's see, I'm going to... Oh, I don't have enough influence to actually conquer it. Yeah, enough authority, pardon, to actually conquer it. Okay, that's my bad because I conquered the other village. So let's just move on into enemy territory and besiege Tabar. Not exactly sure how it's pronounced. There's different pronunciations of it. And hopefully, my people won't be eaten by the sandworms. I mean, this drone does not generate a sandworm, but everything else does. That's a sandworm there. This is going well. Actually, can I control one of them? Yes, I can control one of them. It's night now. I like the effects of changing daytime and nighttime. Let's besiege the place. Oh, and that guy can actually hide people around him. So there's probably a whole lot of... There's a missile. Get closer, get on. Oh, I just lost a bunch of units. Kick that donkey's ass. In a literal sense, I mean. Besiege Tabar. And they're doing damage, I guess. Probably gonna need bigger units. Sandworm detected, yes. Combat ongoing. Operation against you. Ghost market stealing resources. Treaty ended. Yeah, treaty ended. Let's put the harvesters back in action. I wonder exactly how much damage these guys can even do to the siege. Probably not a lot. And there's the invisible units. I won. Okay. Landmarks. What's the landmarks achievement? Control for space. Oh, because I conquered this thing, I got a big giant bonus and won through it. So how much damage can this thing actually take? My guys don't seem to be actually defending themselves. Spymaster. Reach infiltration 3 in any field of operation. Okay, that's nice of me. Come on. Just attack those other guys next to you. And they all died. Wait a minute, where's... Oh, these guys never left. Oh no, wait, these guys I got as a bonus from this thing, I think. Anyway, it seems that my siege isn't going well. I should probably brought some units that can fire explosives, since it does have a lot. Yeah, can be lowered by demo units, which I did not bring along. Should have brought along some demo units. Whoopsie. Very, very, very much oopsie. Let's see, what did this thing bring? Idaho. Buildings are constructed 20% faster, and the mountain itself. Research hub, resource production. Ah, so it increases the production for the research hub. It gains 3 knowledge now instead of 1, which is honestly not a lot. Well, this is Dune Spice Wars. I like it. I super look forward to seeing how it's gonna evolve. Currently it's more in the Dune 2. God damn that ability. It's more in the Dune 2, style of game instead of the Dune 1, I would say. So you can't do stuff with the spice or other complicated stuff like prescient visions and turning yourself into a giant sandworm. Maybe in the expansions, like if this was a Paradox game, guaranteed 4 years down the line there will be 6-7 expansions which will be adding a lot of different mechanics and maybe let everybody ride a sandworm or something. Though I have to appreciate that Espionage is in the beginning available in the game, which wasn't the case for Stellaris. They added it in the last expansion, like 5 years later, 6-7 years later, which was not great. And Espionage, this isn't something you should take lightly. Espionage is a big part of the game. It's a big part of what made Dune. I'm not just games, the books, the movies. It's about backroom dealings and backstabbings. That was one of the main themes of Dune, and it really does very well illustrate that. Can I get these guys closer? No, I cannot. They'll have to walk. It does a very good job at illustrating that, and it does remind me a lot of Dune 1 and Dune 2 with its aesthetic, with the way things are laid out, and also of Stellaris again because of this. And I won't be able to reach that in time, but I can do this. I can put a ceasefire in the region, which actually won't help because they're not attacking, they're actively occupying the... Actually, no, it's not helping. They're actively occupying the town, so it won't help. Should have gone in sooner. But if I do put... If I'm being attacked... See, now there's a ceasefire, so nobody can do anything. But at one point I was being attacked, and I did put a ceasefire, and because the enemy was in, foreign terrain, they couldn't really... Oh yes, I lose standing. Yeah, that's not a lot. That's not a penalty. I could literally never pay the tax again because I have a big gigantic standing. That's kind of disappointing, to be honest. Who's attacking me? Oh, the Fremen. Oh, I can just do this. And voila, Fremen gone. Why aren't these guys fighting? Oh. Who's fighting? Oh, they're not fighting. They're just shooting down some of the transport troops can be shot down. Or at least shot at. And when you do that, you can see that it's sort of moving a bit slowly. And the units are doing their thing. Well, let's see what they did here. Are they fighting? Oh yeah, they started to fight. Okay, so the fighting started. That's good. Or maybe it's not. Who knows? Well, the game's gonna be in early access for up to a year, so it has time to get even better. And I hope it adds more content. I mean, they've said it'll add more content. I look forward to seeing how it evolves. Currently, it's fine currently. It's okay. I'm probably going to be playing more of it. Hey, you could too. It's surprisingly well made. I say this because, well, it's technically a movie tie-in. And, movie tie-ins don't really have a great history of not being terrible. But this one's actually nice. It lives up to what I expect from a Dune video game, and it does it well. So, see you again soon with another video, and at some point a video about Songs of Conquest as well. Goodbye, everybody. And don't let the Chai Halud bite. Blessed be the Maker, let his passing cleanse the world.